So the sensor output will be normally corrected by high frequency unwanted signal called noise. Okay, so this we had seen yesterday. Okay. Suppose the sensor is a perfect sensor. That means you have the sensor gain, sensor transfer is 1. Okay. If f is equal to 1, what is f? F is the sensor. F represents the sensor. Okay. Sensor transfer function. Okay. If f is equal to 1, then this figure becomes what? You will have a picture with a unity gain in the feedback path. Okay. So this will be the picture. This is the command input. Here's the controller. Here we have a summing point to which a disturbance is acting upon additionally. Then we have a plant P. This is the output Y. Here a signal noise is being affected, and this is the feedback path. Okay, gain of the sensor f is equal to 1. Okay, and this is minus it, right? So if f is equal to 1, then this becomes as shown, right? Now you assume that we want to bring this figure into a more general framework. Okay, this bottom figure into a more general framework, right? That's our purpose. So assume that plant P and controller C are fixed, real, rational proper transfer function. Real, rational proper transfer function. Okay, what do you mean by a rational transfer function? Rational means it's a ratio of two polynomials. Okay, s plus 1 by s plus 2 into s plus 3, for example. Okay, and proper transfer function means denominator degree is greater than that of the numerator. Okay, so you see there's a negative feedback here in the bottom figure, right? I can club this negativity sign into this controller C as minus C. Okay, so I will call my C hat as minus C. What did I do? I took this minus sign into the controller block and renaming it as C hat. Okay, let C hat be equal to minus C and regroup the external input signals. What are the external input signals here? One is the reference command R, disturbance D and N. Okay, even though they are unwanted, disturbance and noise, they are unwanted, they are present. Okay, so along with the reference command input, we have two unwanted external signals. They are the disturbance D and the noise N. Okay, so we regroup the external input signals into the feedback loop, as W1 and W2. So what did I mean? I mean to say that I want to arrange this bottom figure into a configuration of this kind, which is a general configuration. Okay, so here is our summing point. This is our plant transfer function. Here is our controller. Okay, so this is plus, this is plus, plus, plus. This is C hat. Okay, so I will call this as my external input now. Even though there are three distinct reference inputs, external inputs R, D, and N here, I want to have this configuration in a general framework. Okay, so I will represent this with the help of W1 and W2. So for me, W1 and W2 represent the external input signals, and in turn, the external input signals are the reference R, disturbance D, and noise N. Okay, so this is the more general framework. Okay, so I will regroup the external input signals as W1 and W2, and the input signals and the internal input signals, and the input signals to the plant and controller as E1 and E2. Okay, so this is my input to the plant E1, and this is the input to the controller E2. Okay, so keep in mind W1, W2 comprises of three signals, three unwanted signals, three signals, external input signals. They are the reference R, then the disturbance D, and the noise N. E1 is the input to the plant, the internal input here. Okay, similarly E2 is the input to the controller. Okay, then the feedback loop with the plant and controller So let me mark this as, say, figure 1 and figure 2. This is figure 1 and figure 2. Okay, controller can be represented. Can be represented as in figure 2. Okay, and the system is well posed. The system is well posed. What's the condition for well posedness? What is the condition for well posedness? Yesterday we had discussed that. What's the condition?
Degree of
See, all that, if you see this figure, we had obtained 9 transfer functions, is it not? What are the 9 transfer functions? Y, V, U, then must be equal to what? 1 by 1 plus PCF into PC, P minus PCF, PCF, PF. Yesterday we had seen this thing. F, C minus PCF and minus CF into what? Into the external signals R, D, and E. Okay, when would you say this is well posed? So all the closed loop transfer function matrices should have been proper. Okay, so similarly, in this configuration, see what are the input signals here? We have grouped the input signals into 2 groups, W1, W2, and there are 2 output signals, we can say E1 and E2. So what will be the condition for well posedness? The transfer matrix from, what's the condition? W1, W2 to E1 and E2 must be what? Proper. Okay. If transfer matrix from W1, W2 exists and is proper. Okay. So if you look at this general framework, right? What is C hat? C hat is nothing but our minus C. Why minus C? Because you see there's a negative sign, feedback signal coming with negativity. Okay. So I'm taking the minus sign inside. Okay. So my C hat of S is minus C of S. What is W1? Tell me, compare this figure and tell me what is W1. Compare figure 1 and 2 and tell me what is W1.
R and D will contribute.
W1 is what? You see, what is the signal at this point? This is the summing point before the plant. Okay, that means this thing. So what's the signal at this point? External input signal?
D.
Okay, so my W1 is D. Are you following what I'm saying?
Yes,
sir. This summing point is the one immediately before the plant B. Okay, so here is this thing. So you have to think in this way, this way. Okay, so this W1 is same as D here. Okay.
Sir, where is R?
R is coming. I'm coming to that. I'm coming to that point. Okay. So this W1 corresponds to a D here. Agreed?
Yes, sir.
So W1 is equal to D. Right. And what is W2? What is W2? Tell me. Compare this figure and tell me what is W2.
And
W2 is the external input going to the summing point before the controller plant, right? What's the signal coming to the controller? Tell me.
Output plus N.
Tell me, what is that in terms of R, Y, V, and blah blah blah? Tell me what's W2?
R minus N minus Y.
R. See,
Yes,
now
sir.
it is not C, it is C hat. What is C hat? It is minus C. It is minus C. Okay, so be careful about the polarity. So tell me, what is W2 now?
N plus Y minus R.
N plus Y minus R, correct. How do you get that?
C is R plus R minus N minus Y. So minus C is.
Keep in mind C hat is minus C. Okay, everywhere we have taken the polarity as plus only, right? You should not get confused. Here it was negative feedback, right? So we have accounted for the negativity into the controller block as C hat, where my C hat is nothing but minus C. Okay, so W2 will be what? W2 will be N plus Y minus R. Is that clear to all?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So W2 will be N plus Y minus R. Okay. So what is E1 from this figure? What is E1 from this? Tell me. What is E1? Tell me. What is E1? Renew.
W1 minus C hat.
Yeah. What is C1?
W1 minus C hat.
Come again. I didn't hear you properly.
Sorry, W1 plus C hat.
W1 plus
C hat.
C hat of S into what is equal at that point? Input to C hat is what? E2.
E2.
Okay. So W1 plus C hat into E2. Okay. See, what is our aim? Our aim is to find the transformation matrix between W1, W2 and E1, E2. Okay. So E1 is nothing but input coming here is W1 plus there is another signal coming from this block. This block transformation is C hat and the input to the block C hat is E2. So signal at this point is C hat into E2. So E1 will be what? W1 plus C hat E2. What will be E2? What is
P into
E2?
P into E1 plus W2.
W2 plus what?
P into E1.
P into E1, correct. W2 plus P into E1. Okay. Right. Now, so we can again do some more manipulations, some more simplifications. So E2 is this thing. I can substitute that into equation 1. So what will I get? W1 plus C hat into W2 plus P E1. Okay. Or I can write this as W1 plus C hat W2 plus C hat P E1. Okay. Or if I take E1 terms together, what will I get? E1 into 1 minus C hat P equals what? W1 plus C hat W2. Okay. W1 plus C hat W2. So this is equation A. Now coming from equation 2. From equation 2, what can I write? E2 as W2 plus P into E1. Instead of E1, I will substitute equation 1. Okay. So W2 plus P into W1 plus C hat E2. Okay. If you expand this, you will get W2 plus P into W1 plus P into C hat E2, right? Or E2 into 1 minus P C hat will be equal to what? W2 plus P W1. Okay, this is equation B. So now I can write this in matrix form. What will I get? E1, E2 equal to what? Some matrix into W1, W2. Okay, so what will be E1? What will be the first term? First term will be, come on, what will be the first term here?
1 by 1 minus
1 by
1 minus P C hat.
1 by 1 minus C hat P. Okay, suppose we are having a MIMO system, then instead of 1 we have capital I. Is it not?
Yes, sir.
If it is a MIMO system, then instead of simply writing 1 minus C hat P, 1 by 1 minus C hat P, I should have written like this. I minus C hat P inverse. Do you agree with me?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay. So let us assume that it's a MIMO case now, because there are many inputs and many outputs. So straight away I can write from this as I minus C hat P inverse. Fine. What will be the next entry? C hat into
Oh, C hat into I minus.
I minus C hat P inverse. Okay. So C hat into I minus C hat P inverse. Okay. What will be E2? First entry? Corresponding to W1, you have P into what? I minus what? C hat P.
He had C.
No. See if you okay. P into C hat. Correct. P into C hat. Oh.
I minus C hat P.
1 minute. So what should be the next term? P into
I minus C hat P inverse.
I minus C hat P inverse. What will be the last term?
I minus C hat P inverse.
I minus C hat P inverse. Okay. So this system with proper C hatches, okay, and P of S. So what is our aim? Controller and the plant, they are fixed real rational and proper transfer function. Okay. So it will be well posed if and only if all the transfer function matrices exist and they are proper. Okay. So all these 4 transfer matrices need to be proper. Thus, the feedback system with proper C hat of S. What is C hat? Keep in mind, C hat is minus C.
Minus
Okay.
C.
Minus C. You should not forget the negative sign there. Okay. This is the standard convention that is being followed. When you define both as plus here, it is understood that the negative sign is taken inside the controller. Fine. So that's the feedback system with proper C hatches and P of S is well posed if and only if the matrix transfer function I minus C hat P inverse exists and is proper. Okay. Now, when will it be internally stable? What is the condition? What's the condition for internal stability? Come on, we have seen that these things yesterday. What's the condition for internal stability?
The pole should be on the left hand side of the.
All the transfer functions. Okay. All these 4 transfer functions must have no poles in the right half of the S-plane.
Right half
Okay.
of the.
And right half of the S-plane. That's the condition for internal stability, right? All the 4 transfer functions, these things, entries, okay, they should not have any poles in the right half of the S-plane. Okay. So the well-posed feedback system, is internally stable if all the transfer functions from W1, W2 to E1, E2 have no poles in the closed RHP. What do you mean by closed RHP?
Closed right half plane.
Closed right half plane. That means what? Is the imaginary axis included or not?
Yes, sir.
Closed right
Include,
half
sir.
plane means the imaginary axis is also included. Okay, this is what is the closed right half plane we mean. R tending to infinity. Okay, why do we include the imaginary axis here? Any idea? Because if you go back to the theory, you will see that there can be repeated poles on the imaginary axis. Okay, like this. Say J2, J2 minus J2 minus J2. Then the system will be unstable only. Okay, that is why we consider the J omega axis also for stability condition, right? If there are unrepeated roots on the imaginary axis, the system is marginally stable. Say for example, J2 minus J2, system will be marginally stable. But if you have repeated roots, J2 comma J2 minus J2 comma minus J2, then the system becomes unstable. Okay, that is why this definition is included. It is called the closed right half plane. Okay, so to check internal stability, what we have to do? What is to be done? To check the internal stability, what is to be done? We have to test whether each of the 4 transfer matrices is stable. Okay, each of these 4 transfer matrices is stable. It is necessary and sufficient. It is necessary and sufficient to test whether each of the 4 transfer matrices is stable. Okay, let's take one example. Suppose your P is S minus 1 by S plus 1. Okay, and C is C hat. Okay, keep in mind C hat means minus C, right? Minus 1 by S minus 1. So can you check whether it is internally stable or not? Just check. C hat is minus 1 by S minus 1. Is it internally stable or not? Just check. Hello. പറഞ്ഞാട്ടെ madam. ഒരു നിമിഷം. Please check. Okay, I will give you just 2 minutes. Just is it internally stable or not?
No, sir.
Why?
Sir, A1 to W2 transfer function is unstable.
It's unstable because it has a pole in the right half of the S plane. Okay, it has a pole at the right half of the S plane. Right?
Yes, sir.
So now we will look into sensitivity and complementary sensitivity.
Sir,
Yes.
is I minus C hat P and I minus P C hat both will be same?
Sorry.
Like I minus C hat P inverse and I minus P C hat inverse will be same.
Actually, if their dimensions are matching, it will be same. Otherwise, it will not be.
So it need not always be.
Sorry.
So sometimes it may not be.
That's what I said. That's what I said. If the dimensions should match, then only it will be equal. Otherwise, it will not be equal.
So in our case, it will be equal always.
Sorry.
I know the cases that we are dealing with, it will be equal always.
We are dealing with that case only.
Okay.
Okay.
Thanks.
So next heading, sensitivity and complementary sensitivity. So this was our feedback system. So this is K of S, okay? So I have picked up all these things from different books. So conventions, these notations may be different actually, okay? There's nothing to worry about that. K of S, I will represent my controller, okay? And G of S is the plant. Controller. This represents the plant. Okay. So this is the disturbance signal. This is my reference input R. Negative feedback. I am considering feedback to be an ideal one. Okay, with a transformation gain of 1. Okay. So this is N of S. Right. So what's the output? Y of S. What will be the equation for this? We had already seen yesterday how to write that. Okay, I will write this equation directly. Okay, we will not waste time. So you will get K into G divided by 1 plus Kg into R of S, right? Minus Kg divided by 1 plus Kg into N of S plus 1 by 1 plus Kg into D of S. You can verify that. Okay, when you are free, you can verify this thing. You will get these things, right? So, or otherwise, I can write like this: Kg divided by 1 plus Kg into R of S minus N of S plus 1 by 1 plus Kg into D of S. Okay, this is equation 1. Now, what will be the error signal? This is the error signal, E of S, okay? R of S, I will write everything in capital letter. What will be the error signal? Error, E of S. That will be, E of S is called tracking error. Why it is called tracking error? Basically, there are two kinds of control problems. One is called regulation problem, and the second one is called tracking problem. What's the difference between the two? Any idea?
In regulatory problems, the reference input will be 0.
In regulator problem, the reference will be 0 or a constant. Okay, say for example, a fan regulator. When you're adjusting the knob of the fan, when knob of the regulator, what happens? Speed is maintained at a constant value, right? Speed is a constant; it doesn't change with time. Whereas in tracking case, the output is a time changing output. Say for example, you want to track an aircraft or you want to track a satellite. Okay, so that satellite will be changing its position, right? So tracking problem, the output is a function of time t. Whereas in regulation problem, it is a constant. It is independent of time t. It is constant. Okay, so this error signal is commonly called tracking error also. Okay, so what will be the error signal E of S here? Any idea? Just try to find what is E of S here. Just find.
Sir, R minus Y minus N.
R minus
Y minus N.
y minus n. Yeah, correct. R minus y minus n. And what will be that in terms of the parameters k and g? What do you get? 1 by 1 plus kg into what?
R of s
R of s minus
kg by 1 plus kgn
R of s minus
kgn
kgn. Okay.
plus d
Just now, I think I made one moment. R of s minus so this I can write as R of s minus ns. What is y of s from this? What is y of s from this? D of s plus kg into
E of s.
E of s. So I can write this as minus of n of s plus d of s disturbance plus kg into E of s. Is it not, Renu? So what will you get? R of s minus n of s minus 1 minute. E of okay. So this I can write as R of s minus n of s minus d of s minus kg E of s. Okay. So that means E of s into 1 plus kg will be equal to R of s minus n of s minus d of s. Or what will be E of s? 1 by 1 plus kg into what? R of s minus n of s minus d of s. Is it not?
Yes.
Did you get this?
Yes, sir.
I may also go wrong. Okay, so be vigilant. So this is equation 2, right? So first one was the output equation, right? This was the output equation y of s, and this is the error signal or the tracking error, right? That is given by 1 plus kg into R of s minus n of s minus d of s, right? Now what is the control signal U of s? Find. Please find what is U of s. What is U of s? K into E of s. Okay. And what is E of s? K into R of s. We have already found this expression. E of s is this thing. Okay. So K into 1 by 1 plus kg into what? R of s minus n of s minus d of s. Yes, Srinivasan?
Sir, we are dealing with LTI problems, no? So
Yes, LTI system. Yes, correct.
How is it a tracking error then? How is it a function of time?
No, LTA problem also means that your output can be varying with respect to time t, right? Say you want to track a trajectory of an aircraft, moving aircraft. Okay. So what happens is that practically what happens is that you will be cutting this into many segments actually. Many small segments. Okay. There's a name for that. I am not getting what's that called actually. So
Cutting what, sir?
This trajectory, okay, if there's an ordinate trajectory like this, that will be sliced with respect to time t. Okay, so even if you are having a nonlinear system, that will be linearized about that particular operating point actually.
Oh, okay, sir.
Okay, so at every operating point, you have to do this process. At every operating point, you have to do this this linearization procedure.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Okay, and then practically what people do is that they will do an optimization. They will find out what should be the control gain at instant 1, at instant 2, and that will be put up in a lookup table kind of thing. Okay, so when and as and when requirement comes in, these values will be plugged in from the lookup table.
What theorems?
Sorry?
What theorems, sir?
No, this is linearization, Taylor series.
Okay, sir. Okay.
How will you linearize a nonlinear function?
Yes, sir. Taylor series. Sir.
Using Taylor series only. Okay, so even if you have a nonlinear trajectory like this, that will be time sliced. Okay, and so that at every operating point you will do this linearization, and you will find what are the controller gains, and then that will be pulled as and when you require that controller gains. Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes.
So whether it is LTI or whether it is nonlinear, this is applicable basically. And time invariant means, oh, I think you got confused with that invariant thing. See, time invariant means suppose you have an RLC circuit like this. Okay. So here we assume that our R, L, and C are not changing with respect to time t. That's only an assumption. Okay. So strictly speaking, R will be varying with respect to the temperature. Suppose you keep this circuit like this for say 1 hour or 2 hours. Then this R will not be R itself. R will be R plus or minus delta R. Okay. But we assume that for our analysis purpose, R is a constant. That is what we mean by invariance, time invariant. Whereas in the case of a launch vehicle, you have to if you take the mass, it is not a simple mass, it is mass rate, m dot. That will vary with respect to the time t. And it is a time varying system. Srinivas, are you getting me or not?
Yes, sir. Yes. Got it, sir. Thank you.
So what will be the control input U of S? U of S is K of S into E of S. Okay. So it is written here, right? I missed it. Okay. So K into 1 by 1 plus Kg into R of S minus N of S minus D of S. This 1 by 1 plus Kg is called sensitivity function. This is called sensitivity function. Okay. And Kg by 1 plus Kg, that is called complement sensitivity. Complementary sensitivity. So this is indicated with the letter capital S, and this is indicated with capital T. What is S plus T?
1.
S plus T will be equal to 1. Okay. So now we can replace this 1 by 1 plus Kg with S and Kg by 1 plus Kg with T. Okay. So what will you get? Our output Y of S will be what? Y of S will be T of S into R of S minus N of S plus 1 by 1 plus Kg is called sensitivity. So S into D of S. Okay. Then what will be the error E of S? E of S will be what? 1 by 1 plus Kg. So that is called the sensitivity function S. So S of S into what? R of S minus N of S minus D of S. Okay. And what will be the control signal U of S? K into S. 1 by 1 plus Kg is called sensitivity S. Okay. So K into S into U of S will be K S into R of S minus N of S minus D of S. Okay. So let me mark this some number 1, 2, 3. Okay. So from equation 2, right? From 2. So we want to see what is the effect of error? What's the effect of this N and D on error, right? So from 2. Suppose N of S, the noise and disturbance is 0. What happens if noise and error is 0? What happens? Error will be nothing but sensitivity into The reference input.
In
Okay, so if you want to have error, what is our aim? Our aim is to make the error very small small as possible. Okay, so for very small tracking error E of s, what should happen for a given R of s? The sensitivity must be
0.
no. See, we want to have an error as small as possible. Okay, so for very small tracking error, what should be the sensitivity?
should be small.
Error should be small. The sensitivity must be small. But you see, now there is no point in saying that sensitivity must be small. What we should say? We should say that the maximum singular value must be forgot everything. See, what was the significance of singular values? If it's a MIMO system, there will be a maximum singular value and there will be a minimum singular value. All the singular values will be lying between these two bounds. Okay, so if we can ensure that the maximum singular value is less than a particular value, then it's ensured that the system value will be less than that particular bound. Yes or no? Because sigma bar is the maximum singular value, right? If we can ensure that all the other singular values are lower than sigma bar, then we can say that this function will be within a particular bound. Am I clear or not what I'm saying? See, what is our purpose? What is our aim? We want to minimize the tracking error E of s. Okay, so for tracking error E of s to be small as possible, what's the condition? The sensitivity function must be small. Okay, now there is no point in saying sensitivity must be small. Instead, we will say that the maximum singular value, sigma bar of the sensitivity must be small, or must be less than some value, say alpha. Okay, now if you divide throughout with this alpha, I can write this as sigma bar must be less than 1. I can normalize that. I can normalize it. Okay, I can always say that my sigma bar must be less than 1. Yeah, if you normalize this value. Okay, so instead of saying sensitivity must be small, I can write that sigma bar, the maximum singular value of sensitivity, must be less than 1 for every frequency. So this will ensure that always the function s will be less than this particular value. Am I clear or not?
Yes, sir.
See, our error signal was what? Sensitivity into difference R of s minus N of s minus D of s. Suppose the noise and the disturbance is 0. Then if you can see that the tracking error will depend on the command input and the sensitivity. Command input you cannot change because you will be giving a particular command input depending upon the output that you need. Okay, so if you can minimize the sensitivity, you can minimize the tracking error. Okay, how can you minimize the sensitivity? By minimizing the maximum singular value. Okay, so by minimizing the maximum singular value, you can ensure that your sensitivity is small. That is what is written here. Okay, so this is a normalized thing. It can be, say, I can write my sigma bar should be less than 5. So to generalize that, we will normalize this value. I can write sigma bar should be less than 1. Okay, for all frequencies. Right? So for a small tracking error, E of s, the sensitivity function must be small. Okay, that is sigma bar. This upper bar means it's a maximum singular value. Okay, of the sensitivity function must be less than 1 for all frequency omega. Okay, if you can ensure this thing, then our tracking error will be small. Okay, now from this from this equation 1, what's the condition for the disturbance rejection? What do you mean by disturbance rejection? Disturbance rejection means the disturbance must not have any effect on the output signal. Okay, So the effect of disturbance must be small. So what's the condition for that? From equation 1.
Complementary sensitivity should be less than.
No, disturbance. You see, complementary sensitivity is T of S. T of S into R of S minus N of S plus sensitivity into disturbance. My aim is to have my aim is to have the effect of disturbance as small as possible on the output signal. Okay, or the system should be good enough to reject the disturbance. Okay, what's the condition for that? For good disturbance rejection, what should be the condition? Sensitivity S must be again
Sigma bar S of J less than
again small, or sigma bar of S of J omega must be again less than 1. Are you getting that point?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
You please respond. Okay, I don't know whether you are following or not. That's why again and again asking. See, this is the output equation, right? Good disturbance rejection means the impact of disturbance on the output must be as small as possible. Okay, so disturbance anyway, it's not under our control. It is an unwanted low frequency signal, right? So the only thing under our control is the sensitivity function. Why? Because what is sensitivity? It is k into 1 by 1 plus kg. So k is the controller and g is the plant. Okay, so you can choose your appropriate value of controller so that your 1 by 1 plus kg is tuned as per your requirement. Okay. So from this output equation, for good disturbance rejection, the sensitivity again must be small. Okay. For good disturbance rejection, so it is clear from here, right? S must be small. Must be small. So now, as I said before, there's no point in saying S must be small. It should be specified in terms of the maximum singular value. Maximum singular value must be less than 1 for every frequency omega. Okay, but you see, from again from equation 1, right? I want to minimize the noise. Then what I should do? I want to minimize my noise now. What should be the condition?
Complementary
Sensitivity must be made small. Must be made small. Okay. To minimize the effect of noise, then complementary sensitivity must be made small. Okay. Again, for minimum noise effect, complementary sensitivity must be small. Must be small. Okay, so what's the meaning of that? What's the meaning of that? The maximum singular value of T of J omega should be less than 1. Okay, but is it possible to have both sigma sensitivity and complementary sensitivity to be very small at a time? Is it possible?
No, sir.
No. Why? Because sensitivity plus complementary sensitivity must be equal to 1. Okay, so if S is small, T has to be high, or if T is small, S has to be high. Okay, so they are contradictory requirements. Okay. Thus, the frequency shape of T of S must be, and you see, what is noise basically? Noise is in the high frequency domain, right? Noise is a high frequency signal. What about disturbance?
Low frequency.
Disturbance is a low frequency signal. Okay, so in high frequency region, we prefer to have a very small T of S. And in a low frequency region, we prefer to have very small sensitivity function. Okay, so this is why, because noise is high frequency and disturbance is a low frequency signal. Okay, so the frequency shape of T of S must be that of a low pass filter. a low pass filter. What do you mean by low pass filter?
So frequencies below some value.
Frequency below some value will be passed. Okay, other frequency will be attenuated, right? So that means this is something like this. Okay, so this is omega c, for example, right? So these frequencies will be passed, whereas frequencies greater than omega c will be attenuated. Okay, this is the ideal low pass filter, right? But practically you will get a shape like this. This is what you get practically. Okay, ideally it should be like this: a horizontal line and then a sharp cutoff at omega c, right? But practically you will get a shape like this. Okay, thus the frequency shape must be that of a low pass filter. Ideally, at low frequencies, we want a flat gain. So what's the gain here? It is something like a similar to a Bode plot, Bode-Manitoux plot. What's the gain here in this region? What's the gain? What's the gain in this region? Gain is 1.
1.
Okay. Only if gain is 1, your output will be same as input. Is it not? What's the transfer function g equal to 1, which is y by u? So only if the gain is 1, you will get the same input at the output point. Okay. So at ideally low frequencies, we want a flat gain. We want a flat gain. And what is 20 log 1?
0 dB.
0 dB. Okay. So this is the 0 dB line. If you are considering in Bode plot kind of thing. Okay. This is 0 dB line. Okay. So ideally at low frequency, we want a flat gain at 0 dB. And phase shift close to, what should be the phase shift? What should be the ideal phase shift?
0.
Close to 0, correct, close to 0. Okay, but practically there will be some amount of phase shift basically. Okay, practically there will be certain small amount of phase shift. Okay, this is what we need ideally. Okay, a flat gain at 0 dB, a flat 0 dB gain at low frequencies. Means what? Low frequency will be passed. Okay. See, in the ideal case, this much frequency signals will be passed through the system, right? And the frequencies above omega c will be attenuated, right? So we prefer to have a similar shape here, right? So at low frequency we prefer to have a gain of 1 or 0 dB, so that the low frequency signals are passed through and high frequency signals are attenuated. Okay. So a flat 0 dB gain at low frequencies means that the output closely follows. The output closely follows the input signal. Okay, because as I said before, if gain is 1, your output will be same as the input if gain is equal to 1. Okay, so at low frequencies we want the output to follow the input closely. As long as R, what is R? R is the reference input. Okay, R stays below the bandwidth. R stays below the bandwidth. Okay, and at high frequencies it should get attenuated. Okay, so as a rule of thumb, the system bandwidth must be 5 to 10 times the highest frequency. we wish to track. We wish to track. Okay. So this, you see, in the ideal case, after omega c, after the cutoff frequency, what happens? The frequencies are 0. Okay, that means we can say that it has got a large roll-off rate. Roll-off rate basically means the slope at about the cutoff frequency. What is cutoff frequency? Cutoff frequency means 3 dB below the low, 3 dB below the low frequency gain. Okay, so if this is 0.707 times, this will be your cutoff frequency. Okay, so ideally the bandwidth must be chosen like 5 to 10 times the highest frequency you wish to track or conduct. So fast cutoff rate means that all high frequency noises will be attenuated. Okay, so all high frequency noises will be attenuated. A sharp roll-off rate. What is the roll-off rate? Roll-off rate means the slope at about the cutoff frequency. That is called roll-off rate. Okay, a sharp roll-off rate means that high frequency signals, high frequency noise will get attenuated. Okay, so we can say that, let me read out this figure here once again. This omega so this is the complementary sensitivity. Okay, this is in decibel scale. Okay, fine. So this is the region that we prefer to have for reference tracking. Okay, what's the condition for tracking? Where is that? So you see, S should be small. So S should be small means what? T has to be high. Why? Because S plus T equal to 1. Okay, so in low frequency region, sensitivity must be small, or rather, the T should be high. Okay.
Sir, how will we calculate that maximum singular value for that sensitivity transfer function?
See, you cannot do it by hand. You have to go for simulation by using MATLAB or some simulation software. It is not easy to calculate by hand.
Okay, sir.
Okay. So unless you understand these fundamentals, we cannot implement that in MATLAB. That is why we are discussing these in detail. Okay. So these rule of thumb things will come into picture when we try to design a controller, right? So it is not in a one-shot procedure. You will have to do a lot of iterations. Okay.
Okay, sir.
So this region, we will have reference tracking. And this region, we prefer to have noise rejection. Okay. Because noise should get attenuated. So this is the region for noise rejection. Right. So we will stop here and continue in the next class. Any doubts on this? Please feel free to interact. Okay. Any doubts on this thing?
No, sir.
Sir,
Go ahead.
previous lectures I'm not getting, sir. Video lectures.
Actually, video I have not yet done. Video I will do. I will edit and upload it. Okay. Please allow me some